Exploring Idaho during the winter months, one of the many great ways to enjoy our home state. But while we're outside enjoying the slopes, snowshoeing, or even just playing in the snow, it's important to remember the outdoors is home to wildlife, vital to our state's environment. Joining us this morning to give us tips on minimizing that impact, Jeff Abrams, Wildlife Program Associate from the Idaho Conservation League. Jeff, thanks for being here this morning.
Hey.
Appreciate it.
Good morning.
So I guess, what does that look like? How can we all sort of help when we're out recreating not to damage these critters' homes?
Yeah, wildlife, it's important to remember, they're in a really vulnerable state right now. And they've had a lot of stresses that they've been incurring throughout the winter. They have really low fat reserves right now. Their feed is kind of not super optimal. And they've actually probably done a lot of avoidance of predators too. So they're already like in a stressed mode right now.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So what we want to do is really be mindful about how we interact with wildlife to not add additional stresses to their environment that we can sort of minimize and mitigate. And so it's important right now in the condition of those critters to not further deteriorate it and add more stress to their lives.
So what does that look like? And people probably unintentionally a lot sort of adding stress to their lives. What do you see most often is the biggest problem?
We all love to get out and play, whether it's in the open spaces that are just maybe adjacent to our neighborhoods or on our public lands, which are, immeasurable. They're such a great resource that we have, right? But so when we're out on those lands, we just really want to, at least try to minimize our contact. And if we observe rules in terms of if there have been regulations set up to not be with dogs that aren't on leashes, if those critters are known to be in an area and we observe them, we can maybe redirect our travel routes or come up with new plans. But essentially, it's really trying to minimize those stresses that are so much a part of their life right now.
Gotcha. So really sort of avoid them as much as possible.
Yeah, it can have impacts for sure. In the springtime when they're getting ready to produce calves and fawns, the fitness of those young of the year can be reduced if they don't have the nutrition and if they have too many stresses. So it actually has ripple effects even into the spring and the summer.
Oh, wow.
It can delay the development of young of the year in many cases.
Wow, so be careful out there. So again, sort of some simple tips, like if we're out there snowshoeing, whatever, what are some things to keep in mind?
Right. So we have deer and elk that migrate down into our backyards more or less, right? Low elevation stuff. So that involves snowshoers, hikers, snow biking has become a big thing these days. And so they can really, if they observe animals, they just need to sort of redirect their routes of travel.
Yeah.
And then at higher elevations, we have a lot of snowmobilers these days. We have a lot of backcountry skiers, critters that they may impact could be denning bears, moose. And so, there's actually research out there that says, hey, if you disturb a denning bear, it can actually come out of its den, out of its hibernation strategy and never return that year. So you could really have impacts when it comes to even high elevation recreation.
Yeah, and waking up a hibernating bear creates a lot of stress on the recreator as well. Jeff, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Some great tips there. We'll post this online for a little bit more information if you need that. But for now, we're back with more Wake Up Idaho after this.